Hi, Ian.
Hey, how are you?
Good. We finally got you in this time.
Yay! How was your trip?
Actually, I misspoke. We leave Monday tomorrow.
Oh,
My
okay,
my daughters talked about it so much, I thought I was leaving the next day.
good. So you got an extra week.
Well, no, I leave tomorrow, so I'll be
Oh,
gone.
well,
Yeah.
but you got all this week, so you didn't have to leave.
Right, right. I wasn't
Ex
ready either.
Haha. But what was the thing that you posted about Oklahoma? Were you there?
I was at Oklahoma City's Ed Camp, so I presented to Oklahoma educators that attended there.
Great. Where
I
are
know.
you located?
No, I'm located in Kansas. I got up at 4 in the morning and drove to Oklahoma City. It took about 4.5 hours. I was tired, but it was worth it. It was worth the drive.
Terrific. So what's going on tonight?
Tonight, if we can get people in, we are going to talk about different ways that we can use augmented reality maybe in a STEM kind of curriculum.
Great. And also what Adam was talking about a couple of weeks, I think it was last week, that those who join the conference, that they would get memberships to AugThat. Do you know how that's working?
He is going to give memberships out to people that join AugThat, but it's going to be for the Teach Connect side, the side that you can create your own, and
Great.
let you play with that and start creating.
So do we have to send him anything, or he's just going to sign up people who are part of this group?
You'll have to email Lisa at augthat.com and tell her that I sent you, and she's going to be the one taking care of it. And I have people not getting in, so let me see if I can't give them the link.
Okay, great.
We'll try and get them in.
And you just said that you have to email Lisa at augthat.com?
Right.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm getting lots of messages. I
Mm.
need to figure out how this. I sent out the invites early, but for some reason, it's not working. Oh, we got Charlie in. Hi, Charlie. Can you hear us?
I can hear you talking to Charlie. I don't know if he can hear you.
We got Adam in. We're getting there. Let's see if I can't get Natalie in. And Doug.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. I'm trying to get people in, so be patient with me.
Hey, Adam, how are you?
How's everything?
Sorry, it's Ian. We've met a few past conferences.
Yeah, how you doing?
Terrific. I'm near you. I'm in New York City.
Oh, cool.
Grammar first.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Doug. Or wait, is that Doug? Yeah, that's Doug. Okay, let's see if we can get Jessica in. We're getting there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's Jessica.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Let's see if I can get some more people in.
I don't have any video or audio. I don't know what's going on. Oh, it's coming. There's Jessica. There's Adam. Maybe it's straightening itself out. There we go.
We do have some viewers. If you are a viewer and you want in, if you go to the wall, the Let's Talk AR 31515 event wall, and tell me that you want in, I can pull you in.
Ian, you're right out of Manhattan, you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and we were at I've been at the past two conferences but haven't been able to get in. But then there was another thing that Katie Ann had where there were virtual groups that were talking to each other, and I was in one group with you a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was last week.
Where in the city are you, Ian?
My school is located in the Village.
Public school?
City and Country School.
Hi, Natalie. Hi. We're getting there. This is going better.
We should talk, Ian.
Maybe.
Terrific.
It's hometown right there. We could.
Are you ever in the city, or are you mostly in New Jersey?
I'm actually doing a conference on the 26th in the city. I'm the keynote for. It's an evening meeting for Augmented Reality.
Oh, great. Is it open to the public, or is it a private event?
I think it's open to the public. I'll send you a link. So you
Okay,
can,
great.
absolutely. It's nice to meet the people of the room, and especially if you could do it personally, it's cool.
That's a big group tonight.
We're starting to grow. We'll get the glitches out of the way out of the first two, right? Okay. I still see that we have a couple of viewers. If you want in the conversation, send me either a message or post on the event wall, and I will try and get you in.
You can also go to Google Plus and search events and then click on Hangouts and you'll find it in the Hangouts list.
That's good to know, Charlie. Thank you. I'm still learning all this Hangout stuff.
I can't hold
Okay. I think we're getting there.
Deanne, I'm going to be kind of in and out here for a little bit, but so don't be alarmed if I hear it reappear a couple of times.
Oh, that's fine. Before we get started, I was told that I need to point out the question and answer if you're a viewer so that you can participate as well. At the top of your screen, you'll see 9 little squares. And if you click on those 9 little squares, you should see the Q&A. And if you go there, you'll get the Q&A window, and you can type in your questions, and I will get those questions. Let's see if there's anybody else I need to pull in. Again, if you need pulled in, give me a message either on the event board or a private message, and I will get you in as quickly as I can. Natalie, are you clicking around? It says you've opened up Capture Smile.
I did. I was sitting here playing for a minute. I was like, oh, I want to see what this says. Sorry, Katie.
It's okay. It just appeared on my screen. I'm like, oh, that had your name with it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I think we've got plenty of people in, and I'll just remind people throughout while we talk, if they have questions, to click on those 9 little squares at the top, and you'll get other choices, and one of them will be Q&A. And then you can post questions if you are in the viewing audience, and I will get those. Okay, so tonight we have, and I'll go through the order on my screen, we have Adam, Charlie, Doug, Ian, Jessica, Natalie, and Terry. Welcome, Terry. Thank you. This is a Google Hangout for augmented reality and education. This is where we get together once a week and we talk about different topics related to augmented reality and education. Actually, I have a topic I would like to talk about this time, which involves STEM and augmented reality, or STEAM, or, you know, putting all those together. And if you are a classroom that's a STEM classroom or you teach STEM curriculum, how can you see yourself using augmented reality in that setting? Anybody out there? I see smiles.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was trying to be patient, but I want to suggest the daiquiri elements. Those cubes for science is perfect to do the element chart and to do all the compounds to make the daiquiri cubes connect and photograph. So that's a great science connection using augmented reality.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think another way that it could be used is for 3D printing. That if you add an aura to the things that your students have 3D printed, to talk about the process of what they've created and to show the steps, if you're using design thinking, to connect to those items so it has an added depth to the item itself.
I like that idea.
I do too.
Anybody else with an idea?
We're currently, just so you know, that we're taking out 3D images that you can augment and creating a 3D library for printers. That schools will be able to access that library and just drop it in.
I like that too. Jessica, I see somebody with you. Who's hanging halfway on your screen?
This is Heather. She's also another student teacher.
Is this the same person from last week?
Yep.
Okay. You were in and out so much last week, it was hard to kind of...
Yeah, our internet kept cutting us off.
Well, I'm glad you came back. And since we have 2 student teachers, I would love to have your input how you could use augmented reality in a STEM type curriculum.
I actually got to do some pre-student teaching in a STEM class. It was kind of an elective course, and how we used it, we just did a pretty simple Erasmus. They were looking at heat conservation in houses, so we used the photo booth app, and they built houses, and then we shined a light through them so they could see where all the light, or we talked about how that would help them find where heat would escape. So they actually took a picture through that app, and then used Erasmus to attach it to their finished. They went through and made adaptations and then retested it, but once they'd retested it, they attached an aura of their original before they'd made adaptations, so that they had the before and after, right, attached to their physical house that they'd made.
I really like that idea too. You don't mind me stealing some ideas, do you?
Right.
Anybody else have any ideas?
I find it hard to
Since last week, I know we had a conversation at the beginning of the week. You're really not going to see much change from like Monday to Tuesday.
I'm not for sure who we're picking up.
Yeah, I don't either, but I was going to say I find it difficult to imagine an art teacher would not find all kinds of implementation or augmenting the artwork that they show in their class.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Sorry, Adam.
No, I'm sorry, Doug. Sorry.
I've been using Blender and Unity a lot lately. I'm developing a lot of 3D objects myself, and although I'm using Layer a lot and a little bit of Erasmus, I'm going to start using the things I've developed in Unity to work with Daiquiri. That engine that they've got out there needs a little bit more work and documentation, but that seems to be a real promising avenue for creating three-dimensional objects and using them. And eventually I want to have some of my students start building those things as well.
So, did you guys ever think about a virtual tour of your classroom? So, like for an art room, have actual photographs of or actual pictures of the paintings, and when the kids walk around, they can scan the images, and you can bring it up a bio of the artist or other pieces of work that the artist has done, or even make it fun and interactive and have, instead of having a bio of the artist when they scan the picture, have questions. It'll pull up a question document that the kids can now have an interactive questioning and thinking to get higher order thinking out of. As they walk around the room, that'll make them think about those pieces of art and then try to figure out how to tie it all together.
Actually doing that now, Adam. We have these 5-foot by 6-foot laminated posters that came from Museum of Modern Art, and I've augmented about 10 of them. And they have music, and they take kids all kinds of different places. The problem is those pictures rotate in and out of a circulation, so they're only up 3 or 4 months at a time, and they're down 3 or 4 months, then they come back up again. And kids gaga about all of that, and it's really interesting. I've also read about some work that's being done in some of the larger museums themselves, where they're making the museums interactive, and you can walk in there with a phone or connected to the internet. You get into all kinds of funky little waters there with artists' permissions and things like that, though. But there's some incredible promise that's happening right now with those same exact ideas. And the art world just seems to be such a natural, if not the first fit in many cases for a lot of this stuff.
If you're still hungry, I'll figure something else out.
My husband's company uses an app called Sapphire Viewer, and they can scan the blueprint of a building, and they can literally go in.
Like how many, like the proteins.
I wonder who we're picking up. This is. You can scan the blueprint and literally go through the building layer by layer. You can even interact with it and measure the walls and the studs and the trusses. So I can see that app being useful
Right.
when you're teaching architect and math and perimeter in a STEM kind of setting.
Right. Right, because you're burning, right.
Anybody else have ideas?
I'm just
Katie,
curious
did
what
you-
AR app that Doug is using.
Do you use Layer?
I use
Doug?
I use Layer, I use Daiquiri, Layer, and Erasma right now mostly, but a lot of Layer and some Daiquiri. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Natalie, what was your question?
I just wanted to catch, did you call that Sapphire?
Sapphire Viewer.
Okay, thank you.
It's used in a business setting. I would like to try and use it in a classroom setting. I haven't gotten there yet. But when I was talking to my husband about augmented reality, he's like clueless, and he goes, "Well, we have this app that does this." I'm like, "That's augmented reality, honey."
That's good.
So yeah, and businesses use it. I mean, IKEA's catalog's augmented, and you can pull furniture and design a room, or
Yeah, I used
several.
magazines to teach students about augmented reality when they were hearing about it first and showing them a real-life example of companies using it.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there, and the companies are doing it, so now we need to pull it into our classrooms. Okay, that was my part. I wanted your little feedback. Anybody else have a topic they would like to talk about with augmented reality in the classroom? Okay, not everybody jump up at once.
I have a question. Now, would you say for those of you who are using it, are the kids making or are staff making as resources for the kids?
For me, it's both. I have kids are making it, and then I'm making it as a resource for them.
I agree, both for me as well.
Is
What are kids
anybody
What are
using
kids
the
doing?
Oculus Rift? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I stepped on you there. I
No,
was
it's okay, Charlie, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what are kids doing?
For my kids, the project they're currently working on is they created green screen projects for ancient Greece, and they are designing their names in ancient Greek, and then we're going to embed their videos or whatever their project was, and so when you scan their name tag, you'll get what they've made.
Okay.
That's our current one that we're working on.
And is the green screen only for one platform, or it works for all the platforms?
The green screen, because I'm uploading them all into YouTube, it's working across all the platforms. I mean, I've tried it with Daiquiri and Layer, and we'll be using the Teach Connect for AugThat as well.
So then what do you embed behind them for the green screen?
They choose. I mean, whatever they've chosen that content. It's their creation.
So the trigger image is them, or?
No, their trigger image is their name, written in Greek, a name tag design that they've made.
So then they're doing the special effects for the green screen in some other program?
Right.
Got it.
What about
I
age
happen to
levels?
love green screen, so we do a lot of green screen activities.
What age groups are we talking about here?
Mine are middle school, 6th grade students.
What about Doug?
He seemed to have stepped out.
Oh.
So is anybody using the Oculus Rift at all, or no?
I have not yet. Anybody else?
What was the question?
Oculus Rift, are you using that one?
Not yet, no. And my answer to the question was very similar to yours, Kathy Ann, that I'm just focusing on kids using this as a way for them to go a little deeper into the content areas. And this is a great way to get them to go further into learning particular things. Sometimes they can contribute to that, but I can take them to very specific things that I want them to be focused on without them drowning in Google search results, for instance, things like that. And I think Erasma really is such an easy work tool. The kids can work with that very easily. Plus, I'm an iPad school. A lot of these tools, the development side needs laptops or desktop machines. We don't simply have that resource anymore. We're all one-to-one in iPads, so they're on the end user scale of things a lot of times.
Natalie, how's your project coming along?
Katie, my project is kind of at a standstill. Last week has been, or it was, a really overwhelming week for me, and I just had too much going on, and I didn't get connected, but I did get an email from Lisa, and so Augmented has made a contact with me, and I'm going to make a reply and work towards getting my T-shirt idea figured out. So I was really delighted when my email popped up, and I got an email from Lisa from Augmented. So that was a thumbs up, so I wanted you to know, and I knew connecting tonight I could share that online.
Cool. I can't wait to see this project develop, and I think it's going to be great.
I think the one thing, it's taken me some extra time because I have so many things going through our school with the transition. We just had too many things go on. That's all. It's just overwhelming. I could go on and on. But the T-shirt idea is still in the works, and I'm just taking baby steps along the way. And I think when I make my connection with Augmented and speak to Lisa and get some one-to-one help, I can make some little baby steps towards making that happen. And then I can report back and share with you guys.
I can't wait.
Thanks,
Harry,
Katie.
you've been very quiet. What kind of projects are you thinking about doing?
Well, I've been looking at 360, which is really cool. So all of them, I've been cutting them out and putting them on cards and getting ready to laminate them. I printed on my 3D printer art.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And this Thursday we have a science fair. So I thought I would have this art and then have one printing on the printer. And then do the 4D from day 3, the anatomy part, and then have the heart cam that I saw on your site. So I'm sure that everyone will be interested in all of it at the science fair. But besides that,
I have our first question.
I teach special needs kids. In 6th grade. So,
did you say sixth?
Pardon?
You're cutting in and out. Did you say 6th grade?
Yeah, 5th and 6th grade. And then I work with gifted kids, and they work with my kids, and so they've been doing a lot of book reviews and things, and then augmenting their book review videos on the book.
I like that. We have our first question from a viewer. Judy would like to know more about your shirt idea, Natalie.
Yeah, last week when we were talking about the T-shirt, my art club has been working on creating original T-shirt designs, and this Thursday we'll be refining and picking the one out of our group that we want to represent our T-shirt logo, and I want to augment that, and we wanted to take, and I've kind of got to get a couple things ironed out. One was the photo I wanted to use of the art club that I wanted to trigger and have the feature of all the students on the art, or who's in the art club this year. But then I thought if that was a trouble and I had like worries about their faces being on the trigger, then I thought, well, I could augment and have the brand new Driver Middle School building and maybe something with our classroom. I'm not sure. Those are the two things I'm trying to iron out. I do know I'm definitely going to augment my logo. It's what is it going to trigger?
Okay, hopefully that answered your question, Judy. It's a really cool idea, and I can't wait to see the finished product. Okay, let's see, who has not talked? I'm going to pick on you, Jean. You haven't said anything. Do you have any project ideas that you are working on or would like help with?
Well, I don't think I have mic.
I hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes,
fantastic. I wasn't sure if I had mic access. Well, I'm working on something for a STEM fair that we're having at our district. I've just started with Daiquiri, and I'm kind of trying to figure things out. I'm having difficulty printing out decent images to use as the triggers. The quality of some of the things that I want to use isn't that high, so I'm having trouble having it be recognized.
Okay. Any suggestions of how she could get a better trigger image from the participants?
I'm trying to make them as individual as possible and really unique.
Exactly.
Are you, what format are you saving it in as?
Usually it's a JPEG or a PNG.
And these are created by a student, and you're trying to transform it over, or these are images that you're pulling?
There are images that I'm pulling, or a student's already created it. Either one or the other.
If you want, you can email me some of those images. I can take a look, and I can kind of tell you more in depth. I don't know offhand why, you know. But if you want, I can have my tech guys take a look at it for you.
When you're going through the print process on Daiquiri itself, like where is the print? Because I'm taking screenshots on a lot of the triggers. You know where you're building the trigger in Daiquiri Studio? I'm basically taking screenshots.
Okay, I can tell you that screenshots are not a good quality. You'll want an original image that has clean, bold lines and contrast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but once you make it a trigger and you're in Daiquiri Studio, then how do you get it to be like a printout or a poster or whatever?
You can't really, in their platform, you have to have the original image that you uploaded to create the trigger.
Let's say the trigger was the cover of a book. You would point your device at the book after you use a picture of the cover of the book as a trigger.
Yes.
Okay, when you upload a trigger into Daiquiri, it's assumed you're going to have access to that printed surface somewhere to scan with a device.
Okay, then I don't see the problem. I can't figure out what problem I'm having then. I'm going to have to try some more stuff, I guess.
And when you load an image into Daiquiri, at the top you'll have a number system. It's 1 through 5, and if it doesn't go up to at least 4, you know Daiquiris having trouble with that image, and it's not going to be a very successful image to scan. If it goes all the way to 4 or 5, though, you shouldn't have any problem with your other devices. And it's right in
Okay.
the space. You'll see it once you upload it. You'll see a cyan-colored set of boxes at the top of your screen that go 1 through 5. And 1 is a good scan, and 5 is the best. I mean, 1 is poor, and 5 is the best.
Okay. Thank you.
Sometimes you may want to put a border behind it or around it. And you may want to create a special border around the frame and not necessarily, like on Augvat, when we have a certain quality that may not be the highest, we can utilize it if we put a frame in, and the frame may have certain, maybe it has a star on the corner or something that's going to, that we are able to align it so that it will trigger an augmented experience.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I have Natalie that has dropped out, and I know she can hear us. I sent you another invite. You might need to check your email and see if you can't join back in. And if you can't, give me another message, and I'll try pulling you in again.
I have a topic I'd like to discuss in the future, Katie.
Okay.
I think we need to start thinking more about how we know that what we're doing is effective with student learning.
I agree.
There's no manual or roadmap yet for that, and there's no way of really assessing that until some period of time has gone by with our work, right? So
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out if what I'm doing is really, I mean, I'm getting inklings and I'm starting to get more information, but we've got to devise some kind of map about how we know we're being effective or not. Because it's real easy to sit around and do pretty little things and have little cutesy little 3D monsters jumping across the screens for the kindergartners. But at some point, people are going to start forcing us to evaluate whether we're actually increasing learning. And I know I'm already confronting that where I work. So I think that needs to be a discussion.
Doug, how has it changed how the students are learning in the classroom? Have you been able to compare and contrast what it was like before you used it and how it's changed after you've used it?
To some degree, yeah, but I'm talking about a wider body of knowledge that allows us to make definitive answers to that question. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody's been doing this long enough or with a level of expertise that's deep enough to be able to answer those questions very well right now. And that's what my question is, and that's what I'm hoping that we can discuss when we get together. It's too new. I just don't think, I think this is the bleeding edge.
I just wanted to jump in for a sec, Doug, and that was something as an administrator and as an educator that I saw as an issue as well. You kind of want to see, we do want to see people engaging their students and how we're going to engage them, but how do you prove that it's working? So
that's right. How do you?
And with that being said, within the next, I'm going to say 2 to 3 months, Augvat has, so my company has pretty much aligned with a national assessment company using nothing but augmented lessons and all this, pretty much our curriculum where a student shows deficiencies, they're going to be reinforced where the teacher can click on a button and it'll give them an animated lesson or a topic for the teacher to utilize for the class. And then there will be constant benchmarks to see if that lesson was a valuable asset in the classroom.
Yep.
So
one of the things that got me first doing this was my guidance group in my school wanted to work with autistic kids and iPads. And they had seen a lot of things in the media and the news and publications about these dramatic results that were taking place. And that's kind of how some of this started for me, but I still haven't heard much or read much yet about what causes, what's going on. I don't think people understand yet why things are happening the way they are, especially with this autism iPad thing. There's still a lot of data and a lot of questions that need to be answered about all of that. And those things are going to tie in exactly to what you're talking about, Adam, is being able to find a system that measures how this is working and why it's working. And when we can start to answer some of those questions, this will be undeniable. Everybody will be doing, they'll have to do this. I mean, it'll be if it's true and measurable, it'll be a major step in improving the educational system from the grassroots up. And that's kind of what I think we need to keep our fingers on that pulse with. I've seen some primary teachers really getting kids provoked by using this stuff, and I think that's great. But the content seems to be awfully light sometimes, and their objectives and their learning goals aren't always terribly clear. And I think that's really important. Otherwise, this will just be a fad and die away. And I don't certainly think that it's that at all. But I think we have to start answering some of those questions somehow, which means we have to start collecting data somehow, and just like you were talking about, Adam. Especially how difficult it is to sell this to my local school district. I mean, it's been a real challenge. I hope they don't read all of these things you're publishing, Katie Ann.
Well, it is on YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it seems to be a tool like anything, because you could talk about Scratch, and Scratch you could say is just a gimmick or a tool, but then other people are using it in very innovative ways. So I think AR on its own, I think it could be discounted as just a fad, but I think how the teachers are using it effectively as a tool to really enhance curriculum is really the key. I think you can assess and get numbers on what you want, and I think schools love that because then it validates what they're doing. But I really think what empowers the teachers and the teachers that work together is really how they can use it to teach and really enhance what they're doing. And I think sometimes it's going to work with certain years and maybe other groups it may not, but that's the artistry of the teacher and the teacher working with the students.
And I think that, just to add on to that, you're right, it's how powerful of a tool that the teacher is using it as. I mean, how many rooms have smart boards that the teacher's using it as a really expensive overhead projector?
Right.
And they're doing a PowerPoint, they're doing PowerPoint slides on it, and they're clicking it, going over to the laptop and clicking it so that it goes to the next slide. And it's about empowering the teacher to see how easy and how engaging it can be to the student, and that's the whole purpose, is to engage.
I'm smiling at him.
What's that?
I'm smiling.
Because everybody has that in their schools, and it doesn't. I see it every day, and I hear it every day.
The presentations that I gave this fall, I guess I need to do a better job of selling, because I always start my presentations out with, this discussion is not about technology. And I don't believe augmented reality in education is a technology discussion at all. And I think it's exactly about using the tool in a way to advance teaching and learning. And the tool is the enabler that is going to let us do that. And as such, it almost, that's, people hear that, and the ones that struggle with technology, they don't quite understand what I'm saying. For me, it isn't about the technology at all. The technology will get mastered. It'll be made simple. It'll be made more versatile. It'll be made these things. That will happen as time goes forward. At the end of the day, you still have to teach the kids that are in front of you. And this is going to be a tool that's going to enable you to do it in a different and more meaningful way if you're a creative and invested teacher. And it really doesn't matter what the technology is, in my opinion, right now.
We look at what do we use in our classrooms to count or to add money. We bring out giant manipulatives that kids can see what a quarter looks like, what a penny looks like, how many cubes. So you're pulling out a big container of cubes. Okay, if the teacher's using it correctly, it's one of the most powerful tools. If they're just going to throw it on the desk and say, here, count the cubes, well, it's exactly what you're saying. It's a tool. It's a tool to enrich and enhance your lessons as a teacher, as an educator, and the great thing about it is that students can bring it home with them. Whatever they were doing in class, they can reinforce it in the home. Even if they don't have a computer at home, everybody has, there was a study on how many people have smart devices or smartphones. Well, there's a large number of smartphones out there that a student can use or borrow from their parent for 5 minutes to see that image and have a creative writing aspect too.
Adam, my students take me home. I go home with them every night.
I like that.
So, I mean, and plus I don't have to repeat instructions ever again either. I mean, a lot of my enhancements are audio enhancements straight from me. So, I mean, just, it's amazing. And I think we need to really get into figuring out what's what. By the way, Adam, one point I take exception to, my smart board actually is a trigger now. I can scan my smart board and use and get AR going with my smart board.
That's great. That's great. So now you're going to confuse everybody twice as much.
Precisely. The Department of Redundancy Department.
Just click here. It's good.
Okay, we haven't heard anything from Heather. She's sitting over there half on my screen. So, yeah, I'm talking to you. What can we help you with since you are a student teacher using this tool to maybe either finishing what you're doing now or maybe to incorporate it into your future classroom?
In my I'll be teaching a lot of math. So how can we use augmented reality to help that math come alive to the students?
Oh, that is the best topic. What I am going to do for a teacher, she teaches 7th grade math, and I have a teacher that teaches 8th grade math, and they have what's called interactive notebooks that they build throughout the semester. And we are going to add trigger objects to those notebooks. So there will be videos that either the students are making that explains that topic, or there will be examples made. There will be 3-dimensional objects added so that the kids could see the volume or see different formulas being used. So yeah, math is definitely on the forefront of augmented reality and how to use it to engage students. What grade level?
I'll be teaching in middle school, so.
Awesome. You'll have to stay connected with me because I would love to share that with you once we get some of these triggers made.
Oh, sounds great.
I can also add to that, Jessica, that I have a lot of respect for the work that Salman Khan has done, and he's a great supplement for all of my math instruction. And I can take kids without having to establish accounts or wade through the thousands of videos that they've had. I can link precise chapter topics to Salman's work using AR in our textbooks. And it's great to have something explained 1, 2, and maybe 3 different ways, especially when you get into some more abstract parts of math. I teach 8th grade algebra. And he's been an unwitting, unknowing accomplice in my math classes. That's helped out a lot. Katie is right, math is a great sponge for this kinds of creativity and these kinds of things.
Is there anything else or any other projects that we can help anybody with or give you some ideas how to create or to obtain these augmented triggers?
I need some help with something.
Okay.
Does anybody in your school systems, do you guys use filters and proxies to control student forays out onto the internet, whitelists and things like that?
We do.
None of the daiquiri apps will work inside my school's firewall. And I've been working with technical support with them for about 2 months now, and we cannot solve this problem. And I'm not sure what's going on, if anybody else. I think I've seen a few other people have those problems too, but none of the Daiquiri apps will work inside my school's firewall. Anybody have that?
I had that issue last year, and our tech department worked on it, but half the time it'll work, half the time it won't, and it's something they're blocking or something that's getting crossed, and I don't handle the filter part, so I can't really tell you. We use Lightspeed, and we have, yeah, so I don't know their listing, their whitelists, or what they've built to allow stuff or to block stuff.
That seems to be the same problem. And I think I've read some other people that are having it too. So
yeah.
And we use Lightspeed also. So is yours working intermittently? Is it working at all?
It'll work every once in a while. I'm trying to have this huge bulletin board with a whole bunch of augmented triggers that kids are making, and I started with the Daiquiri app, and that's when we learned that it would work half the time. But if we take the triggers outside, or I used my phone, it worked all the time.
Yeah, I know the problems with the school's firewall. I know that something, but the problem is that I don't think anybody at Daiquiri actually is. It's been very hard to find out what the under the cover is going on with their apps, so that you could add things to the whitelist. No one can seem to figure out what those things are, and as a result, right now I can't use the app unless I turn mobile data on and go outside the firewall. So.
Hey, Doug, do me a favor though too. If you could check out with my app as well. I mean, I think
I will do that.
I think you'll find that because it's in the programming, and you have to know there's a lot of schools that put filters on because of wording in the coding.
Yep.
And when it goes across and it picks up that coding, or it'll pick up how it's rated or where it's placed inside like the App Store as well.
Yep, or keywords. Yep.
So definitely try it out and let me know if you have
I absolutely will,
well.
Adam. I definitely will. I'm looking forward to getting my hot little hands into that, definitely.
Welcome back, Natalie and Jean.
Thanks.
We were just talking about other projects. If you had any other ideas or if you needed help with a project, feel free to ask.
Justin and I went to this technology conference on campus a couple weeks ago, and they were saying when you have YouTube videos, if your school blocks YouTube, there's an app called Edpuzzle, and they're trying.
Website or an app?
Well, it's an app and it's a website, and they're trying to get around the block on YouTube. They're working on it, so even if your school blocks YouTube, you can still access those YouTube videos.
And then use them as triggers. And I think you can add pauses to the videos so that you can ask questions. You can voice over the videos and kind of add your own twist on them as well.
No, this is a naive question, but are there schools that actually block YouTube?
I am at one right now for student teaching.
Yeah.
I'm at one.
New York City Department of Education, New Jersey, they block YouTube.
The whole thing.
A lot of the most of the school districts out in the tri-state area, yeah, Pennsylvania.
And these are these schools all Gmail email clients too, or are they not in there?
My school has it. It is not well used by most teachers, though.
Because, when you get a Gmail account, you get a YouTube account.
The students can't access it.
Yeah, we are a gas school, and we block it for the kids, but the teachers have access to it, which is kind of pointless because if I put stuff on my YouTube channel, they can't watch it.
Yeah, so hopefully the Edpuzzle might be a way to get around that.
Well, I'll tell you another way to get around it. There are 3 or 4 tools out there on the internet where you can paste a YouTube video address into it and actually download the YouTube video. And if you could find a a way to host it yourself. You could put it in Google Drive, or you could even host it on your local machine if you wanted to. Be careful with copyright issues there. But you can downright and locally host anything that's put into YouTube. And that could be a solution for people who reach a certain amount of desperation with that, too. That's another possibility. I like to host YouTube videos a lot because, you know, when you go to a YouTube video, you're stuck with 80,000 new suggestions for videos, the ads that come up before them, and frankly, I'd rather not see those a lot of times. So I'll host some of my own YouTube videos just so that I can get rid of all that peripheral noise and stuff on the outside. It's a much better experience. But if you look for something like YouTube to MP4 on the internet, you'll find a lot of places where you can actually download a YouTube video, provided that you have the permissions. You know, if you can see it, the author, I think, on YouTube, and don't quote me, but they've made it public. So, I mean, if you're allowed to view it, and if you're in education, I believe you can still use it. I'm not certain about that. Adam would probably know a little bit more about that since he's has to confront those issues with his company, I think. But
so the copyright issues, we're always concerned about utilizing videos that are copywritten. One is you can ask permission from the actual author, but as long as you're using it in a non-for-profit and there's nothing stating that you cannot use it only for this channel, you guys are not making a profit on your videos.
And you're not distributing it either.
That's correct. You're utilizing it within your classroom as a learning tool.
Yep.
You're not sitting there charging the kids $2 per video, and they get a bag of popcorn
thinking about
with it. Yeah, it might work, but you know, I try to stay away from the whole YouTube thing. I don't utilize YouTube. Everything that we create is created, you know, uniquely, and it's all original content. For teachers who are publicly utilizing YouTube, as long as you're using it in your classroom, you're using it for educational purposes, there's really, copyright comes into an issue if you're making money off of somebody else's work. You know.
Yep.
So I think it's safe to say that as long as there's nothing that states you can't use it, you're okay.
Yep. That's the advice I got also.
Well, the last trigger I had made that Joe helped me with at AugThat was a YouTube, and when you scanned it, that's embedded and it plays, and we are blocking YouTube, so I had to test it out. And it played perfectly with no ads or anything, so that's also a solution too.
On the
Teach Connect side.
Yeah, so when teachers utilize the Teach Connect and they do a YouTube video, we encode it for our platform, so it actually is no longer a YouTube video. It goes to, it's embedded in our system for your lesson, which is non-for-profit, which you're not making money on.
And there was no ads, and it worked.
And for technology's sake, Adam, you're not altering the technology. You're not altering the content either. So you're still
no. And that's the beauty on the Teach Connect and being able to share it out, is that that's really not the videos and the lessons you're creating they're not being distributed for resale.
Adam, I know what the problem with AugThat that I had. I couldn't find the app to download onto my iPad. It's not in the App Store.
It's in the App Store. For the Apple?
Yeah, it's called Star.
Nope. So we're in the process of trying to get everything under titled the same, but unfortunately Google and Apple are two different stores. If you just type in Supreme Tutoring Augmented Reality, it will come right up.
Type that into what?
Type it into the App Store search.
Okay.
and I'll just type it
Yep,
in
it
there.
works.
So, it works now?
Yeah, Heather just typed it in.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's like this long process to get this done. We've been waiting already a couple of months for them to get it straight. It will eventually be under AugThat, so that it's in the Android store and the iOS store under the same title. So when you search it.
Perhaps somebody could publish that search string in this tonight's
Okay.
hangout. Because it really
Adam,
wasn't
what's the best
clear to me
email to
where I
reach
would
you at?
find that when I got your license, but that's good now. That's why I was scared that there was no Apple product for this.
No.
Find it in-
Yeah, it definitely is. So you can definitely find it under there, which you guys found already. And you should have no problems. So when everything comes together that it's under the same title, I'll let everybody know, definitely.
Okay.
Okay, Doug, I'm posting it on the event wall.
Beautiful. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Adam, what's the best email to reach you at?
You could reach me at adam@augthat.com.
Okay, great. Thank you.
It's far too confusing.
Yeah, I know. But I bet you could put it on your smart board.
It's already there.
Well, anything else before we end our tonight's conversation?
I was just wondering if anyone's using Discovery.
Terry, you cut out. Can you say that again? I think you're also frozen.
She did more than cut out.
That happened to me.
Hello?
Hello? There you are, Terry. You kind of froze on us. Can you repeat what you were saying?
Sure, I was just saying that I use Discovery Education. We have a subscription to that, and their videos are really cool to put on the augmented reality.
Cool. That I don't have access to those, so I'm not for sure what kind of videos they have, but I've heard a lot about the Den stuff, and that people really like it.
Well, you can do like little video segments for just a certain area that you're working on for science. They have math videos, just a whole array of different videos for different themes. So you can just pick out like a 2-minute short clip to put on a paper or something.
That sounds like fun. You should try it and give us an example of what it looks like when next week.
All right.
We'll have show and tell.
Okay.
Okay, well, this has got a lot better than the previous two, so I'm learning. We will be back next week, same time, same place, and I promise I will try not to look too tired.
How'd your conference go, Katie Ann?
It went really well. I spent 2 days talking nonstop about augmented reality in my session and outside my session, so apparently I'm the go-to person.
That's awesome.
And also, will be presenting augmented reality, another huge conference in Texas, Austin, Texas, in June. So I'm slowly getting around. Hopefully I'll make every state.
Isn't there a rather large convention going on right now in Austin, that SXSW convention? The Jackery people are there, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, this has been great, and I will see you all next week. And bring friends.
And thanks again, Adam. I appreciate the license.
Oh, my pleasure, Doug. No problem. No worries.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank
no
you.
problem.
All right, take care.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Come on.